This is what I love about the Marais, is that you still find historic buildings like this. Like, check this out. I mean, you're just not gonna see this everywhere in Paris. Here's to a great time in the Marais. That's what I'm talking about. I'm Angel Castellanos for the tour guide, and today I'm exploring one of Paris's most colorful neighborhoods. That's right, the Marais, right here.
The Marais neighborhood is in the historic core of Paris and runs from the Pompidou Center all the way to the Bastille, which covers the 3rd and 4th arrondissements all the way to the edges of the river. From Le Marais, you're about a 10 to 15 minute walk to mega monuments like the Notre Dame and the Louvre. Metro line number 1 and bus number 69, which stops at the Louvre, are easily accessible and run along Rue Saint-Antoine that becomes Rue Rivoli. Also, you can find Metro line 11 and Metro line number 8 running north and south along the edges of the neighborhood.
So if you're coming from a different part of Paris, stop at the St. Paul stop, which is off line 1, which is one of the major metro lines here in Paris. It takes you here to Rue Saint-Antoine, which turns into Rue Rivoli, one of the major arteries of the Marais, and you have the whole neighborhood right in front of you.
The trendy boutiques and restaurants, top cocktail bars, narrow romantic streets, and diverse community make this neighborhood a vibrant slice of modern-day Paris that is still encapsulated in a historic surrounding. We created the perfect route and plan to get you from A to Z. Check out the blog for great information on maximizing your time and increasing your fun. Before we get started, hook me up with a like and subscribe so we can keep bringing you great content.
When it comes to breakfast in Paris, you want to skip the hotel breakfast. Parisian locals don't eat breakfast in the hotel. You want to go to a local boulangerie like this one. It's an award-winning bakery. There's tons of croissants, baguettes, all the good stuff that you want to try first thing in the morning. So how much is a baguette?
140.
140. And how much is a pain au chocolat?
150.
So you could have a pain au chocolat and a coffee for under €3, right?
Exactly.
Perfect. So we're in the heart of the Marais here near the St. Paul metro stop, and we're at a boulangerie called Le Petite Versailles, and it's an award-winning boulangerie. Boulangerie is a French word for bakery, and not only do they have baked goods, but they also have pâtisserie, which are sort of the really sweet, good-looking pastries.
Oh, c'est bon, c'est bon.
So I have some beautiful pain au chocolat, which is essentially a croissant filled with chocolates. So butter and chocolate always make a good combination in the morning. And then just, I don't think you can come to Paris without trying a croissant. Typical boulangerie does open early in the morning, but it's not typical for them to have chairs and tables set up. This particular one sets up at about 10:30 in the morning if you want to sit down like I am. But otherwise, they're just catering to locals. I haven't seen one tourist come through here yet.
Another great little cafe here in the Marais is Bistro St. Paul, run by Monsieur Jean-Pierre, and it's such a chill place. You might recognize this place from our Paris in 2 day videos. Sean was sitting here, Brandon was sitting here, and I just love coming here because Monsieur Jean-Pierre is a cool guy. This is a traditional French bistro, seats facing out, and it's off the main street off of Rue Rivoli, and I love coming here. Even though the guys aren't here this time, I'm gonna go ahead and have breakfast.
While there are no mega monuments in this neighborhood, there is still plenty to see and do. The Pompidou Center is one of the best modern art museums in all of Europe. If you love 20th century art, see it now before it closes for 5 years starting in 2025. Pablo Picasso lived in Paris, and the Picasso Museum houses over 400 pieces of his art. The Carnavelet Museum will teach you all about the history of Paris from the French Revolution. The Marais is the Jewish neighborhood of Paris, and there is a moving Holocaust Museum in the neighborhood. And places you can visit any time of day are Place de la Bastille and Place de Vosges.
One of the places that you can't miss in the Marais is the Place Vosges. In my opinion, it's one of the most beautiful squares in Paris. It was built in 1605 by Henry IV. It's sort of the first urban housing project in all of France. And loads of famous people used to live here, including Victor Hugo, who wrote most of Les Miserables while he lived here. I love coming here to hang out, maybe have a sandwich on the bench or lay out on the grass. In the summertime, it's extremely popular to come here and sort of people watch and just sort of relax. You would walk by this off of the main road and never know it's here, and that's what I love about Paris, is sometimes you have these hidden gems and wonderful places that survived the French Revolution. I mean, this is like a time capsule, and I absolutely love coming here.
On the edge of the Marais is a spot where history happened that changed the world. On July 14, 1789, French citizens stormed the royal fortress that was turned into a prison known as the Bastille, which had become a symbol of royal tyranny. These events shocked the world and led to the French Revolution. To this day, July 14th is celebrated as Bastille Day. Don't come here looking for the prison, because all you're going to find is a big square with a monument dedicated to French democracy and a modern opera house. On Sundays and Thursdays, this becomes one of the best markets in Paris.
So if you want to do a bit of sightseeing when you're here in the Marais, come check out the Carnavelet Museum, which talks about the history of Paris and does a deep dive into the French Revolution. I love it because it's a small museum, very manageable, and if you're looking for a lesser known museum here in Paris, come check this out. Sometimes people call this part of the Marais Falafel Row because there's a ton of falafel places. And if you've seen our Paris in 2 Day video, you saw us eat at the most famous and well-known and delicious falafel place. So we're gonna go by, say hi to the fellas, and give them a shout out again.
I ordered just the classic falafel sandwich, which is very inexpensive. It's under 10 euros, and you get several pieces of falafel, lots of sauce, veg, so it's fully vegetarian, which is quite nice.
I love it.
Camilla is a classic bistro and restaurant in the Marais that is super popular with locals, so you have to make sure to book well in advance. They serve all of the French classics, so you can't go wrong with the menu, and the interior decor reminds me of an old Hollywood movie. I've never had a bad meal here, and you are guaranteed to have a good time.
Cafe Louis Philippe is a place that's near and dear to me. I've been coming here for years. It's on a quiet little corner right off of Pont Louis Philippe, technically in the Marais, so again, it's one of the recommended places in the Marais, but it's so close to the Notre Dame as well. I recommend coming here either for lunch or dinner, or simply sitting down for a glass of champagne and enjoying Paris. Not every place in Paris that you go to has to be in a touristy street or on a busy street, so santé, cheers.
The Marais neighborhood is well known as the Jewish area of Paris and was once the largest Jewish neighborhood in all of Europe. Today it still retains its identity, and you'll see many Jewish bakeries and lots of locals walking around.
Look at this beautiful challah right here. Ooh, really good. It's pretty fitting, since the Marais is the old Jewish neighborhood, that there would be a museum and a memorial to the Shoah, which is the Holocaust. So this museum talks about not only what Jewish life was like in this neighborhood, but the atrocities that happened during World War II, and which definitely impacted not only all of France and Paris, but certainly this neighborhood. So there were 11,000 Jewish children deported during World War II, and 500 came from just this neighborhood, this arrondissement. If you're not sitting down for a glass of champagne after a long day of sightseeing, then I think you have to reorganize your priorities here in Paris. I love to come here to Petite cheval here in the Marais. It's just such a small, classic place. It's on Rue du Temple, right next to Les Philosophes, which is its sort of cooler cousin. They share the same menu, so I like to come here, have a glass of champagne, order some small bites, and just chill out in the late afternoon. I'll tell you something, pretty dang good.
If you love seafood, a great place to start off the night or for dinner is lHow, which is one of those places that is trendy because it maintains the friendliness of a family restaurant while the Mexican-born executive chef brings an international flair to the seafood.
If you want a cool place to hang out in here in the Marais, come to lHow. They have an excellent wine list, but they also have eats if you're hungry. So you might want to come here before dinner to have some appetizers. They specialize in seafood, so their chef has prepared some oysters, some ceviche, some shrimp, and these potatoes with a very particular sort of French seaweed. Absolutely delicious.
There is no shortage of great restaurants right here in the Marais. Don't forget to bookmark our blog for a full listing. And if you like food as much as we do, don't worry, we got you. Our Marais food tour is a fun way to learn more about French food. Check the link in the description below.
I'm a man of simple tastes. I only like the best, and this is amazing. One of the things that I love about the Marais is that it's full of really great restaurants, and one of my favorites has to be Au Bourguignon du Marais. They serve typical dishes here from Burgundy, and I eat here every time I'm in Paris, actually, so I wanted to show this off to you and order some classic French dishes. I ordered a glass of a typical Burgundy wine that she recommended. Josh has his glass, and we're waiting for our starter. So basically what you do is you take a little bit of the foie gras like that, and then you spread it over some bread. And then the bread is the vessel to bring it into your mouth. So the main event here is obviously the foie gras, it's not the bread. The bread is just the vessel. I wish you could smell this because this is the most rich beef stew you could possibly think of having. It's essentially beef cooked in Burgundy wine with pieces of bacon. Those are the pieces of bacon, and onions and carrots and potatoes. So simplest dishes sometimes are the best, and this is beef bourguignon from Au Bourguignon du Marais. Get out of here. This is why you come to France. This is why you come to Paris. I mean, it's just so tender and at the same time so rich. You get the beef and the wine flavors just perfectly melting together. Love it. So here we go. This is what I ordered for dessert because in France you can order cheese for dessert, and I ordered Saint Marcelin cheese. So it's like a camembert, so instead of being from the north of France, it's from Burgundy, and it is exquisite, probably one of my favorite all-time cheeses. I'm trying to live my best life here in Paris, and this is definitely helping.
The nighttime energy of the Little Red Door has kept me coming back for years. What I consider to be my local neighborhood bar in the Marais was recently ranked as one of the top 10 bars in the world for the second straight year. From behind the bar, skilled mixologists shake and stir curated organic ingredients, creating unique flavor combinations. Whether you're looking for a quiet drink with friends or a lively night out, the Little Red Door is my go-to spot to end an evening right here in the heart of Paris. Even though Cambridge Public House is a friendly neighborhood pub with a casual atmosphere, their cocktails are so good, they're one of the top 50 cocktail bars in the world. The motto here is tradition and transition, so they're experts at the classics while continuously searching for new flavors and ingredients every month to create innovative and delicious cocktails.
I'm Angel Castellanos for the tour guide. Thanks for joining me on an epic day in my favorite neighborhood right here in Paris, Le Marais. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and santé.